I can do math. I don't like to do math. I did math through high school with the first child, and I was like, this is now 2 times through for me, my own personal time, and with her. I'm not doing this again.
Well, Cindy, welcome back to the podcast. We left with a good cliffhanger yesterday because at the end of our conversation, we were talking about the importance of academics and how to balance life skills and character. And of course, the most important thing, our relationship with the Lord and our kids' relationship with the Lord, and how to balance that with academics. And I know you well enough, and you know, it's our thing. Any academics that we teach to our kids, any curriculum that we teach, whatever it is we're teaching them, should always point them back to their creator, which is why our sponsors that we have, you know, BJU Press Homeschool, Apologia, these are the people who help guide us towards our relationship with Christ. And we're so grateful for that. But academics are important. And I said at the end, because you were like, we need to have our kids college ready by the time they graduate high school. And if you listen to my earlier conversation with Cindy, you know that she has a master's degree. She was trained as a teacher. And so I know that there are those moms who are thinking, how in the world, Cindy, do you expect me to teach my kids to be college ready when I, barely graduated high school? If you did it all, you're not all the things that you think all the other homeschool moms are. You're not organized. You're not smart enough. You were a terrible student. By the way, I'm talking to myself. This was and is me. I barely graduated high school. And actually, I've told this story before. I actually didn't graduate high school. I didn't actually get my diploma until after I was married. I was missing a math credit. And so after Garrett and I got married, I was 21 years old by the time I got my actual official high school diploma. I did walk in my graduation ceremony because my school allowed me to. They said, you just need to finish this credit. But anyway, but I hated school. I was a horrible student growing up. And it was very, very difficult for me to make it through the academic part. I just went because I wanted to, be a cheerleader and play soccer and do the fun stuff. And so that was one of the reasons why I said I'd never homeschool. I was like, oh, heck to the no. I am not smart enough. I am not organized. I am not disciplined enough. There is no way I could ever or will ever homeschool my kids. But God, this is one of those but God stories. So talk to the mom who is she's there. She's like, there's no way, Cindy. I wasn't college ready. I'm not college educated, and I can't possibly provide that for my kids. How do you encourage that mom?
Okay. That's a big, big question. So we may need to break in and take it in chunks.
Sure.
Let's just start from the top down.
Okay.
That might be the easiest because that is a huge frustration for a lot of people. They say, listen, we're in high school level classes. I want to continue homeschooling. I don't know how to teach these things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is the absolute beauty of this job is that we have so many resources.
Yes.
Whether they are curriculum companies, like you've just mentioned, whether they are video-based things, whether they are outside tutors or outside classes or outside whatever, whether they are co-op classes. So practically, I can do math. I don't like to do math. I did math through high school with the first child. And I was like, this is now 2 times through for me, my own personal time, and with her. I'm not doing this again. Yeah. So with the second child, we moved into, I think we started with some Saxon DVDs, and I think we switched into teaching textbooks. And then once he got into some math-related sciences, the co-op teacher took care of that. Right. I was completely out because I don't do chemistry science. Yeah. I mean, it's chemistry math. That's what I meant to say. The chemistry math. And physics math. I don't do those things. Yeah. So I turned those over to other people who do those things. And then with the third child, we found, why can't I think of the name? Thinkwell Math. I have loved Think Well Math. Again, though, we did some science things, and I'm a science girl. I'm a huge science girl, but I'm not a science math girl. So that kiddo was also put into, it wasn't really a co-op at that point, but it was some special classes that met in our town for science that included the math. And that's where he did those. I also turned college algebra over to dual credit. So there are 1,000,001 ways for you to teach classes that you don't necessarily feel confident in.
Yeah.
Where your kids are learning with someone else and you are still in charge.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of ways to do that.
Right.
Okay. So that I hope covers that. Do you have more on that one?
Yeah. I just was going to say we did a whole episode, and I will link to that in the show notes, called, How to Homeschool Affordably, or Affordable Homeschooling, something like that. It was after our school choice episode. And in that episode, we talked about lots of ideas to homeschool when you don't have a big budget. Because again, I'm thinking there's going to be people who are saying, but Cindy, I don't have the money to do online learning classes or video-based classes, things like that with my kids. And so we give we talk a lot about some different ways to educate your kids that are no cost or low cost ways. So I just wanted to throw that in there for those who are thinking, I just don't have the money for it.
Everything I mentioned besides those formal math programs were free or very cheap because I volunteered my time. So I am a science girl. I went in and I helped teach because I could teach the science part of it. I just couldn't teach the math part. Right. That was totally free for me, you know, because the other person volunteered her time. Right. And we only charged for a few supplies that we needed. So it was just crazy cheap.
Yeah, you have to be creative sometimes, but
yeah.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.